There are two important lessons in life. One, never sign anything without reading the fine print. And two, when it comes to agreements of any kind, always get it in writing. That's not always as ominous as it sounds. For mentoring programs, getting a written mentoring agreement is a great idea that helps establish guidelines and boundaries that both mentors and mentees can live by. If you've never had to write one before, now's the time to start. Hi, I'm Jessica. Welcome to Mentoring Masterminds, where we combine the expert-level insights we've gained as a top-rated mentoring software provider with real-world best practices from mentoring program leaders at top organizations. In this video, we'll talk about mentorship agreements. These documents don't have to be complicated, but they can make all the difference in helping mentors and mentees both know what's expected of them. Let's dive right in. First though, be sure to like and subscribe so you know when we release new content every week. Mentoring agreements are documents that mentees and mentors work on together. These documents will outline the nature of the relationship and, importantly, establish some guardrails around that relationship. A good mentoring agreement will help both the mentor and the mentee manage relational expectations and what each other should expect out of that agreement. When completed to everyone's satisfaction, a good agreement is not too unlike a statement of work. It outlines the scope of the relationship and acts as a contract between the mentee and the mentor. You don't have to think of it as a legal document, especially for workplace mentoring programs. But if you want to formalize it, you can have both parties sign the document. That is, after everyone's read the fine print, of course. Generating a mentoring agreement is fairly simple. During their first mentoring sessions, mentors and mentees can work on the document together. They can then finalize it during a subsequent meeting. The most common elements mentoring pairs should consider in a mentoring agreement include: what goals can the mentor reasonably help the mentee achieve? How frequently will the mentee and mentor meet? Will the mentee have access to the mentor outside of meeting times? Who will have the primary responsibility for tracking the mentee's progress? Will the topics discussed in the meetings be confidential? What topics are off-limits? And what will accountability look like? That's just a sample. There is quite easily any number of restrictions both parties can place on the mentoring engagement. But you can see why this is something that both mentors and mentees should work on together. If either the mentor or the mentee was to decide these questions for themselves, it could create conflict and hurt the relationship even before it has a chance to start. Once the mentee and mentor have co-written the agreement and signed off on it, the last step is to make it official. For workplace mentoring agreements, the mentee may want to share that agreement with their manager or supervisor. That way, the manager or supervisor can be aware of the mentee's learning goals and the structure of their mentoring relationship, and make any accommodations that might be necessary for that relationship to work, such as guaranteeing time in the mentee's schedule for mentoring sessions. Make sure the document also lives somewhere that the mentor and mentee can access it, such as a shared cloud drive. And last, but certainly not least, regularly refer back to the agreement and make updates if needed. Like many written agreements, things can change. If the agreement needs to be updated, don't hesitate to do so. If you have a moment to spare, I recommend you stick around for some additional insights from a Fortune 500 mentoring program leader within our community.
Well, I think you led off with what I think is so key is setting up boundaries from the word go. And, I go back to this idea that folks need to feel safe. The inverse of that is they're afraid.
Right.
And what's the fear rooted in? I would wager it's a fear of the unknown. An unknown about what's safe to talk about. Mm-hmm. Where is this going to lead? Is this going to leak out to an individual, to an organization, to an office that I don't want it to. And so while it might seem less than fun at the outset to say, okay, here is our sandbox. Here is the boundary, right? Here's what I'm comfortable talking about.
Right.
Here are my expectations. Now share yours. That is the most essential starting point, whether it's coaching, mentoring, or any type of other one-to-one relationship.
Right.
Where are we safe together? Let's get that expectation and those boundaries out in the open, right? And so we actively promote, mentoring partnership agreements at the outset. Similarly in coaching, we take time to say, this is the framework, these are the boundaries. If this topic moves here, it's, I'm going to say, let's talk to your HR business partner. We can't have this conversation here.
Right.
And they appreciate that.
What boundaries would you set in a mentoring relationship agreement? Let us know in the comments below. Creating a framework around any relationship isn't always the most fun, but it is important. Especially in mentoring programs built around diversity, equity, and inclusion, making sure the mentoring relationship is truly a safe space for the mentee should be a priority. And once that's out of the way, let the relationship commence. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to visit us at mentorcliq.com and follow us on LinkedIn for more mentoring program insights and advice.